Well, this past weekend, we went down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi to visit the Lucky Rabbit flea market. We took our good friend Tara Hunter down there for her milestone birthday celebration. That's where she wanted to go for her birthday. So I kind of thought, well, while we go down there, let's do a video and do some toy hunting. Well, we went the first weekend of March, and usually the first weekend is the street market, so they had a lot of extra vendors set up out in the street. Now, the street vendors have a lot of handcrafted items. There were candles and baked goods, a lot of crocheted little animals, because I think Easter's coming up, different things like that. You're not going to find a lot of old vintage things at the street market. It's mainly new, crafty, homemade items. Now, this vendor was giving out samples of some of her baked goods, and they were really good. We tasted that pink one, and it tasted just like Sonic Cherry Limeade. Now, this was the window at the Lucky Rabbit. They had a lot of vintage McDonald's items, which I love vintage McDonald's, but a lot of it had been damaged in the sun over the years. But I've got some really cool vintage McDonald's things I'm adding to my toy museum. Now, right when you walk in the Lucky Rabbit, they did give us a cool sticker, and they had a wall of cat clocks that was pretty cool, but they had this display of this old house, and they decorate it for every season. We went for Easter, and then they have their vintage signs everywhere. They cut off the end of a school bus. It is like a theme park of flea markets. The owner is kind of like me. He really likes to collect things, and he'll put his personal collection into the flea market to make it so cool. And the Lucky Rabbit does have its own little merch section where you could get shirts with their logos and everything on them. They're pretty cool, and it's a great way to market their business. I saw this. That was so funny. A pet VR virtual reality game. Hilarious. Now, the Lucky Rabbit has all kinds of vendors. They have paintings and ceramics, a plant stand, a lot of old glassware, a little bit of everything there. Now, it's not super cheap. The vendors do have to pay their rent, and there's a lot of maintenance to keep a big business like this in operation. So you're not going to find like cheap items like you would at a junk store, but you're going to find decent priced items, and you're going to find a lot of unique finds there. But it's a major tourist attraction for our state, and even if you don't buy anything, just going in and taking it all in is definitely worth it. And most of you know that have been following my YouTube series Value My Toy Collection that I collect toys, and I'm about to open up a toy museum. I bought an old bank building in Crystal Springs, Mississippi, and I'm still collecting toys to put in there. Now, I have plenty to fill up the space, but I can't help but look for more. I don't want to say it's a disease, but it's just a fun hobby that I just enjoy, and I wish I had this kind of space they have at the Lucky Rabbit, because there are so many things that I would enjoy having that they have, and I'm sure I have a lot of stuff that they would love to have, and I think we kind of have the same brain. You got it all inside of you. Feel it to be true. And when you dance, I'm in the group. You make me move. You make me move. You got it all inside of you. I always enjoy looking for things that remind me of my childhood or just toys, and I saw this little bottle of Final Net that my mom used to have. It was $3.99. I so started to get that, but I didn't because I didn't need it. I'm trying not to buy as much, but you can just find all kinds of little treasures. I love this part too. Oh, there's so many good things. I saw this old vintage late 70s or early dinette set, and I remember these, and I think it was about $400, but very cool. I saw young people in a lot of these booths that kind of gave me hope for the future. They were looking at this big ceramic aisle. They kind of thought it was from Harry Potter, and it kind of made them interested in it. Had a little Star Wars section that's pretty cool. It's just fun to look around. If toys aren't your thing, there's plenty of things there that might grab your attention. I did see a lot of people buying things, so they were finding items they loved. Oh, these drink holders were hilarious. I started to buy one since they're so popular right now. I saw this that was really cool. $4.95, a little Snow White bottle top for like a bubble bath. This is when we went up to the second floor and we could kind of take some video looking over how cool the flea market is. I have this same Golden Girls cutout that my friend Melissa got me for Christmas. We have some of the same items. I love that giant football scoreboard they have, but my building wouldn't hold anything like that. I do have an old phone like theirs. Mine's not in the blue casing, but I have the phone. I thought this was hilarious. And they did have a couple things that were affordable here and there. Here they had the little toys, the mini brands, where a lot of little girls collect it and make little grocery stores or convenience stores with all the items. I thought those were pretty cool. Just $1 each. Everybody can afford that. Had some stickers that were $3 or $4. I mean, they have affordable things there, but their big items are a little bit pricey. Like I did look at some old McDonald's glasses and things like that. They were like $18 and $22 each. It's a little high. At a lot of flea markets, you can find those more like $8 to $10. But like I said, it's the experience. It's so much fun, and I will always go back there to visit because it's just something you must do and see. Owners have so many cool neon signs and tin signs and vintage signs. I know they have at least $100,000 worth of props in that flea market that make it so cool. So jealous of some of the props they have here, like this E.T., and then they have the baby Jeffrey from the Toys R Us store. Those are so valuable and so hard to find. They're so lucky to have these things. So many cool things in this place. In their candy section, they had a pickle and bacon flavored lollipop. I was so tempted to try those. And then everyone's favorite, they had the Golden Girls mints. They were strawberry cheesecake flavored. Then now they have an outdoor area that leads to the building number 2 they just bought to make a second flea market. It's full of vintage cars and statues and a bus full of vintage dishes. It is such a cool place and such a cool idea. We are so lucky to have it in Mississippi. Now, the second building's really cool. When you walk in, it looks like an old grocery store. They have the conveyor belts as the cashier desk. They have the old racks that they put stuff in to sell. And I did talk to the owner's parents, and I think they got those in like North or South Carolina, and they had them shipped over here. They saw them on Facebook Marketplace. It's such a cool story. But they are really genius the way they set this place up. And like I said, we are super lucky to have something like this in our state. I think people from other states would come here to see it. Just like I feel when I get my toy museum open, that people from other states will come just to see it. Now, when I got my bank building, I had to sell all the furniture in there because I didn't need bank furniture. And the parents of the owners of the Lucky Rabbit came in and bought this bank island I had, and they turned it into a gaming table. And I'm so glad a piece of my bank is now in the Lucky Rabbit. I feel really good about that. And I'm glad it got a good home. I really love this new section they opened up. They made it like this brightly colored candy shop with all kinds of different candies. It's such a cool experience just to walk through it and pick up a couple treats if you want one. Now, you can really tell the owners still love their flea market, and they still love to be creative and come up with new ideas because they're constantly changing up the different displays. Like this one wasn't here the last time we came in, but one of the vendors makes these artificial looking cakes, like birthday cakes and party cakes, and they're very, very creative. And I wanted one really bad, but I didn't want to spend it. The big one I wanted was probably about $85. And it's, the size of a cake would sit on a large plate, but again, so cool. And sometimes you do have to pay a little bit more when artists makes things because you are also supporting their artistry. And of course, we had to let our birthday girl, Tara, hold up one of those cakes. And then we saw the treat at the flea market. We thought this was a fake cat at first until it started moving, but this cat enjoyed everybody that came by and would just pet him. He wouldn't even move. This was a really cool room where they had all the vintage TVs projecting the same image. And another thing I noticed, they had the really cool music playing in a lot of different sections of the flea market. And the playlist I've made for my toy museum, we had a lot of the same songs already on there. Now this was a steal, a bargain. This big arrangement was only $99. That's more like a $400 arrangement. So you can find the really good deals there. You just have to look around, just like any other flea market. Had a lot of vintage hats in a certain section. I always like those old lady vintage hats for some reason. I don't know why, but I always pick those up when they're fairly priced. Found a couple more toys. Found an alien statue there that was priced $10,000, but I think they just didn't really want to sell it. And then I saw this vendor that had this old vintage TV with an old Nintendo game playing. I also have that idea. I've saved an old TV to do the same thing for the toy museum. Great minds think alike. Now, I did almost buy a couple of these, and when I go back, if they're still there, I probably am going to buy some. They're vintage porcelain Cabbage Patch Kid figurines, and they were priced anywhere from $20 to $35 to the larger ones, and still had the original tags. But here are the only few things I bought at the Lucky Rabbit. I did buy the Snow White bottle top for $5 basically. And I bought one little mini brand mayonnaise for my little convenience store I'm working on. And then I bought some of those Golden Girl strawberry cheesecake mints. So I only spent about $11 there. Now for lunch, Tara suggested we go to the Porter restaurant. It was so good. She really hit the nail on the head with that one. We got this double bacon cheeseburger with the best barbecue sauce on it and fries. So good. Then we went thrift shopping. They had this little thrift store next to the Lucky Rabbit that we popped into, and I got some deals there. Oh my God, I got some really good deals. I picked up this Build-A-Bear. He was $2, and he's worth about $12 to $15. Then I got this little Amy Rose Sonic plush that I just paid $1 for, and she is so rare and collectible. She's worth $45 to $60. I got an Aflac Duck Bowl worth $25, and I paid $1 for. Got a Scarlett O'Hara doll for $2.50 worth $25, and a vintage Bradley doll for $5 that's worth at least $20. So I spent about $11.50 there, and it's worth about $127. Now our next stop was to Dirt Cheap. It's a big bargain center with a lot of discounted prices. So I just mainly focused in the toy section. I'm going to show you everything I got when I show it off at home, but I got some great deals. One thing I got are these Pop Funkos of Hulk Hogan and Mr. T in the wrestling ring, and they were $12 each, and they're worth anywhere from about $22 to $35 on eBay, but I'm a big fan of both of theirs, so I definitely had to get those. Then I got this big Groot figure still in the box. It's the Blast and Battle Groot. I paid $6.50 for it. He's worth about $24 on eBay. Then I got a Monster High doll. I've started collecting these since I did that video and they're worth so much, but he was $6.50 and he's worth about $27. The Elf on the Shelf Nora figures, I paid $5 for, and they're worth about $16. Got one of the little Dino Ranch figures for $3.50, and it's worth about $15 on eBay. And then I don't really collect Pokemon, but I have a few. This was the Select series for $6.50, and it's worth $35. And the little Ursula Wow Pod was $4, worth about $14. Puppy 4-pack was $7.50, worth about $14. I got some Super Mario Brothers movie figures. We got K-Mac, he was $10, worth about $19. Luigi was $10, worth about $17. Toad was $10, worth about $22. And Mario was worth about $20. This giant She-Hulk Pop Funko was $12, worth about $30. And then this FAO Schwartz Street Chic Wash and Color set was $3.50, worth $19. Got a little Yoda Christmas plush. He was $3.80, and he's worth about $15. Really love this. I got this brand new Coraline plush for $19.50, and she's worth between $50 to $100 on eBay. She's very hard to find. And I got a 100-year Mickey Mouse Squishmallow for $6, and he's worth $25. So we had a fantastic time shopping and thrifting and bargain hunting, and I spent a total of about $184 for the entire day. So when I got home and looked it all up on eBay and I took the lowest possible value, it was all worth about $567 for everything I bought throughout the day in toys. So when you take what we spent versus what it's worth, we ended up making about a $383 profit for our toy collection. Well, thanks so much for watching my fun video, and if you like collecting toys, you can follow my YouTube channel. It's called Valuing My Toy Collection, where we show off all of our toys and show you what the value is. And if you want to see my toys in more detail, you can follow me on Facebook under the Toy Vault of Mississippi.